We're going to talk just kind of broadly all across the landscape. The vibes are the highest, though, Josh. You know where they are? Athens, Georgia. The #1 class in the entire country. There was a thought heading into the day like, okay, hey, maybe, just maybe, if Alabama gets a little few breaks here and there with certain guys flipping to them and then certain guys staying committed to other places, the Dogs, though. Dogs still on top, man. And the biggest commitment of the day, in my eyes at least, KJ Bolden, #1 safety in the country, 5-star plus kind of player, says, I want to stay home. And Josh, to me, this felt like, and we had Chad Simmons in studio talking about this, if he's not in the state of Georgia, if he's not in the backyard and they can't go and see him and he can't take double-digit visits to the Dogs, probably doesn't end up staying or doesn't end up committing to Georgia. Maybe he stays committed to Florida State.
Hey, this makes the sting of that Dylan Raiola flip almost go away. You still got Ryan Puglisi. Now you got the #1 corner in Ellis Robinson. And now you just pulled the #1 safety in KJ Bolden. The secondary class is elite. Bar none, the best in the nation. Florida State was rivaling that with what they had, but you take KJ Bolden out of Florida State's class and you go from elite to very good. Still great class for Florida State, but missing that one piece that would have put them over the top. In the Dogs, you know, the Dogs are going to dog. You know, we say Bama used to Bama.
Yep.
Well, Dogs are going to dog, and that's what they did, despite losing Dylan Raiola and, you know, just the trials and tribulations of any recruiting cycle. But to see, even with the loss of Dylan Raiola, UGA still had the #1 class heading into the day.
Still had the #1 class.
Only solidified that with the flip of KJ Bolden.
And they had a quarterback as well, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, in Ryan Puglisi. I mean, a dude who's going to be a dog, not just from a mascot standpoint, from like a dog on the field for a long time. We sat down with him at the On-3 NL Elite Series event. Dude was a pro all the way through as a high school senior. He's also been at the boarding school for a while, so he kind of has at least a sense of what college life will be like with what he does in Connecticut right now, what it'll be when he gets to Athens. So big time get for the Dogs. The Dogs are going to dog. We talked about this on the show too, Josh. The way they're built in this class,
right?
Almost half of this class is made up of the big boys on the offensive and defensive line. Like when you talk about the way this class is built, they got the off-road wheels. They can go into Big Ten territory. They can go play against Alabama, which they'll have to do in September this upcoming season, and beyond, obviously, which what the new SEC will bring to the table from a scheduling standpoint. The bottom line is Georgia, a tough team. The brand itself recruits itself. I don't see the toughness that they have internally going anywhere, Josh.
No. You know, flipping a guy like Nasir Johnson from Florida, he goes 6'4", 300 pounds. The Dogs are looking stout up the middle. Jordan Thomas, 6'6", 315. Justin Green, 6'3.5", 275. You see where this is going. I mean, they have some bodies in the middle. So, yeah, I think, you know, Georgia, we can talk all about what they're doing at the skill positions and what they got in the secondary. But you pay attention enough to Georgia, and you know they're going to land some guys like a Quintavious Johnson who goes 6'4", 265, playing on that D-line, big athletic bodies that can move, and that's what Georgia is loading up on.
When it comes to Georgia and it comes to those measurables of the height and the weight, they have a type.
Yeah.
They have a type, and that's big, and that's tall, and that's
nasty.
Physical and nasty, which is what's going to make them successful going forward and why Georgia's probably going to stay Georgia. Now, one more thing I want to say about Georgia, Josh. I want to get your thoughts on this. It really feels like to me Bama has been a brand for a long time. Nick Saban's built that thing up. You see that script day. You're like, okay, I know what we're getting when we go to Bama. Georgia, in the last couple of years with the national titles they've won, with the way that Kirby Smart has just propelled this entire operation in Athens, Georgia, to me it feels like they're sort of, you know, starting to get in that same territory. Is the way it feels to me. I know there's different, you know, sample sizes because Bama's been Bama for a long time, but it feels like they're kind of in that same territory of Tier 1 in college football.
Nothing's forever.
Nothing's forever.
Nothing, especially in college football. Nothing lasts forever, and at some point, yes, there is going to be another major brand that takes over for Alabama. I don't know if I'm ready to call it just yet, but what Georgia has been doing under Kirby Smart is certainly brand building, and you're just seeing the results. It's a low-risk place to go. If you're a big man, if you play any position in college football, you can go to Georgia. You can go to Alabama, get developed, and go pro. We've seen it. Proof of concept is there. That's what Nick Saban did for all those years, and now that's what Kirby Smart's doing.
It's exactly the way it feels. Like at this point in time, I'm a high school recruit. I got an offer from Georgia. I got to have a good reason as to why I'm not taking my talents to Athens, because there's such a structure of success. There's such a track record of winning. Like if I just do what I'm supposed to do at a place like Georgia, so much about, well, I got to play early. Well, I got to put up these numbers. Like it just takes one good year to place like Georgia, much like it only takes one good year to place like Alabama.
Yep.
So the Dogs, Georgia going to Georgia, number 1 class in the country. Final thoughts on the Dogs, Josh?
Just outstanding. Number 1 class, well-deserved. There was a mathematical possibility. There was a pathway that involved a lot for Alabama to be able to take them over, but they eliminated all that with the flip of KJ Bolden. Mathematically, the number 1 class in America.
Like one of my favorite movies says, Josh, remember the Titans, leave no doubt. They left no doubt when it came to what they did on the recruiting trail today. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.